Yes, sir. We can go ahead and get started, folks.
Hey, Sean, we've talked a lot about this team and being just very resilient this year. What would you say made them that way, and how much of that do you sort of take credit for? Or what did you do to get them there?
Well, first off, look, it's a group thing that happens, and it happens a little bit over time. I feel like it's an experienced team, not only in the regular season but in the postseason. This year was uniquely different, but I think it starts with just the buy-in by the players and the preparation and the process, and understanding that even without the COVID, the 16 weeks is a long season where oftentimes guys are going to have to step in roles that would be different maybe than when the season began. And, we did it a year ago, not just at quarterback, but and then certainly this year has been a little bit more extreme because of all the other things going on. But I think it's a testament to the leadership and the process.
Sean, we know you wanted to obviously upgrade the offensive line's play after last season. Numbers-wise, it certainly appears to be that way. But what would be your assessment of how the line's played this season?
Look, I think they played well. I thought for the most part, we've run the ball well. Our protection numbers have been good. I think it's one of the strengths, I feel like, of our team. And I feel like it's such an important position group relative to the whole team. And so I think we've got good leadership there. And, we've had a few different lineups, but I think that we've been able to function with different players playing in different spots.
When you're looking for those guys, what are you specifically looking for when you're looking for a guy like a Cesar Ruiz or whatever on the line?
Well, look, I think there's a certain amount of intelligence that we feel is important. I think that there's a size and a little bit of a grit factor as to how much they love playing. And I think that we have those things with our current offensive linemen, not just the starters.
Sean, when you guys were going from Ruiz to Easton, were those decisions based? Was that just matchup based for a specific game? Something would look better for Nick than Cesar?
We were trying to, play and get both of them work throughout the course of the year, and yeah, I mean, because really we felt like both of those guys, really had good training camps, and we felt like they both should be playing, and that was kind of our approach when the season began.
Sean, is there a long-term concern with Easton now, just with the concussions?
Look, not that I'm aware of, and yet there's always that awareness relative to a player who's had, a couple concussions, and so we'll always be smart when it comes to that type of injury, and I think for good reason.
Sean, when you hit this point of the season, do you want to see your team hit any benchmarks throughout the course of the week, or do you really try to keep this the same as it always is, same as week 1, week 12, whatever?
Well, we're on a schedule. I mean, it's a Sunday game, so the transition week to week has been smooth. Our practice schedule, obviously, you're paying attention to the details. I'd like to think that we're approaching it much the same way. In other words, we're not, there's a certain level of a heightened sense of urgency because now you're kind of in one of those single elimination type tournaments. But yeah, I don't think we're setting new benchmarks during the week for practice or anything like that. It's the attention to detail. It's the proper time on field, the proper rest and recovery. You're always weighing those things.
Sean, how have you guys gotten creative to keep Alvin Kamara up to speed while he can't actually be at the facility this week?
We've had a couple, obviously we've got the Zoom technology, the practice video, all of those things. And I think I mentioned this yesterday. It really helps that he's an extremely intelligent player.
Is he able to watch and and not necessarily participate, but follow along with the practices on the field as well?
Yeah, there's a live video cam, and look, we've had a number of things, but I don't want that to be the big story, because we still have to wait to see if he's able to play.
Coach, are you concerned about any continuity issues this week based on
Any
some
what?
of those guys are coming back? Are you concerned about any continuity issues on offense based on who might be able to return this week?
Yeah, I understand the question, but I think that's kind of week by week in every game that we're playing. It'd be different if we were returning an offensive guard or center or right tackle that hadn't played in 5 weeks. And so let's see how this group of players, hopefully as many as possible, are able to play. And then obviously we're always mindful of the snap count and how many plays they get.
Sean, not really game related, but 3 guys make the All-Pro second team: Alvin and DeMario, Ryan. Just any comments on those honors for them?
Look, they're all deserving, and I think that I'm trying to figure out how you make the Pro Bowl and not, or the All-Pro and not the Pro Bowl. But no, I think that the players and people that follow this game would treat that team is probably the most difficult to make.
Sean, of course, your focus is on the field, but this game will be simulcast on Nickelodeon for the first time in NFL history. What went through your mind when you heard that partnership, and have you contributed to the production this week?
We haven't done anything out of the ordinary. The first time I realized we were going to be on Nickelodeon was someone tweeted about me getting slimed, so I had to look that up. Yeah, I like it. I like the fact that that they're choosing this game, and I think that that says a lot.
How do you view this opportunity for engaging new fans in the NFL? And you mentioned you looked up the slime. Do you have any sense if you will be slimed? At least
I would only enjoy being slimed if we won, and I would be willing to be slimed if we won, whatever that means. I will officially volunteer to be slimed if we win. Thank you. All right. Appreciate you guys.
Luke Johnson.
Hey Carl, what's kind of been your main focus when it comes to development these last 2 years? What's been the biggest thing that you've been kind of keying in on?
The whole offseason, my main focus was to get bigger and stronger. I weighed 255, 260 last year, and I came in at 270, 275 this year. So my main focus was to get bigger this offseason and play a big role in the D-line position.
Do you think that's paid off this year? I mean, I think you have, what, 5.5 sacks right now?
Yeah, it's been paying off. My biggest thing is, staying humble, doing what I can to help the team win, and just doing whatever coach asks me to do.
Amy Jones?
Yeah, a natural follow-up to that. In what specific ways do you feel that you've grown from last year to this year? Not like physically, of course, with adding weight, but in your game.
Just locked in. Just knowing the playbook better. Going after guys, just playing faster, and just doing my job. So the main thing is, the better I learn the playbook, the better I do.
Nick Underhill?
Trey Hendrickson was talking about the season you were having the other day and how he was kind of in that role before where you just come in behind. In some games you might play 6 snaps, and another game you might play 30. And he was just kind of talking about the challenge of staying consistent through that. What's the challenge for you with that? Just like not necessarily knowing how much you're going to play and just staying locked in and being able to go in whenever they call on you.
First off, I'm going to say I'm very thankful, being allowed at least 10 plays. My whole objective throughout the week is just to know the playbook as much as I can, because you never know. Somebody might get hurt, or, they might need you, or you might end up starting. So this is a professional sport. So you got to be a professional, and you have to do your job, or somebody else will. So my whole point of going into the game is just to know the plays, the playbook as much as I can, because I don't know, like you said, how many snaps I'm going to get. So I'm going to just be ready. And when my time is called, it's time to go.
Luke Johnson? I wonder how much you've kind of enjoyed being able to play behind guys like Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport, Trey Hayes, obviously having a great year. Like, how much does that help like a young player coming into the league to see that stuff every day?
That's a big thing for me. Them guys is like a mentor to me. Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport, Trey. Them guys is a mentor for me on and off the field. And I'm very thankful I got guys like that. If I need help or I don't understand something, they're able to break it down, or even if it's technique. Cam always, critiquing my technique for me. And, they're just motivation. So I'm very thankful I got guys like that, because, somewhere else, you might have vets that don't really care about the young guys. So I'm thankful.
Amy Jo?
Yeah, back to, that with Trey specifically, following up to Nick's question, how has Trey helped you, and just knowing that he's been in the same shoes that you were in a couple of years ago?
Trey helped me out a lot. He, like you said, he been in the same position as me. Coming off, that backup role, have to know the plays, and, playing on special teams a lot. So he been a mentor to me, just telling me, be humble, be patient, everything will play out. And as that's what I've been doing. So, Trey, he's more like a mental guy, and he been there for me, and he know what I'm going through, and, just be ready at all times. So
what does that mean to you when you know that Trey was in your spot before and you see him having the season that he's having now?
It just means that, first off, he's blessed, it just that my time is coming, and we'll just have to see how that goes.
All right, Carl, we're all set. Thanks for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, first question from Amy Jeff. Amy?
Sorry, forgot where my unmute button was. Caesar, yeah, obviously your playing time has varied depending on, who's available and the matchup for the week, but how do you feel that you have progressed through your rookie season?
Yeah, I feel like, all the way from my first snap to now, I feel like I'm progressing every single week. Honing in on the little things that coach points out that I got to work on, or, guys like Teron tells me like, hey, look, let's come watch this film and, let's work on this and try to fix this later on. And just every week finding something different and try to perfect. I feel as I've been progressing pretty well from the first time I touched the field to now.
John DeSager?
How you doing, Caesar? Caesar, you're a first-round pick for a team that had a 13-3 record last year because it wanted to improve the offensive line. How do you feel that offensive line has played this season? Statistically, it certainly looks like you guys have played well, but how do you feel the entire unit has played?
I feel like our entire unit has been great. We've done a lot of special things. It's a unit that takes everything serious. So, overall, I think our unit played great.
Amos Morrell?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, do you feel a different vibe around the team at all, now that it's the playoffs, or has it, kind of been pretty much consistent?
It's been, it's always been a locked in thing from the regular season to now. The vibe is definitely there, the playoffs, you can definitely feel like the playoffs, you're in it. So that's definitely one thing I can say that I can feel for myself. That it's the playoffs, so it's time to kick things up.
Luke Johnson?
Caesar, what do you think is the most important lesson you've learned over the course of the regular season?
I learned a couple. I learned a good amount of things. Really, one thing I learned is that there's every time something happens, you have to keep playing. You got to be ready at all times. Every week you got to prepare as if you're going to be a starter that week. So that's definitely, I guess I could say it's a lesson. One thing that I developed to learn that every single week that I'm out there practicing, just have to be prepared to start that week in case your name is called.
Is that different going from like college to the pros? Like, is there like a kind of a separation there between that kind of mindset?
Yeah, because in college, I was the defensive starter in college. I knew that week going to the game that, hey, look, I'm the starter. I know exactly what's going on. I'm gonna be the guy in. Now you just gotta be ready, no matter what happens. It's just being ready at all times now.
Nick Underhill? You kind of gave the overall assessment of the line, but when you look at yourself, how do you feel like you played this year individually?
Yeah, individually, I definitely had my ups and downs my rookie year. It's not done, so I can't give my how I feel overall. My on this season because it's not over yet. But I've had ups and downs, but I've learned a lot, and I feel like I'm progressing in the right direction.
And what did you see from Akeem Hicks in that first game? You did a pretty good job against him, and then you had a good game against Chris Jones. So do you feel like you've been ascending as you went along, and then just the evaluation of Hicks too?
I've learned different things on how to, from older guys like Teron, how to watch film, how to come up with a plan for certain guys, and just how to attack things going into the week. So, as I take those little bits and pieces he gives me, and implement that into my, my weekly schedule, my weekly routine, and I just set up a plan for myself for whoever I'm going against. Of course, the two guys you named, of course, really good players, and so like guys like that, I watch a lot of film, see what they like to do, and come up with a plan for that week.
And last question from Amy Jeff.
Yeah, obviously, like you said, the season isn't over yet, and it's your first time in the playoffs. Just knowing that you got here in that first season. I guess, what does that mean to you? Or are you just not trying to think about that while you're focusing on the game plan moving forward?
I'm sorry. So are you asking like, what does it mean to be in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it's your first time ever playing in a playoff game.
Yeah, I
mean
mean,
anything to you at all?
yeah, I haven't played in a playoff game since like my sophomore year of high school. So it's definitely good to have that playoff vibe back. And of course, don't think about it too much. Don't overwhelm myself with the fact that we're in the playoffs. At the end of the day, I got to go out there and do my job.
Awesome. Thanks, Caesar. We're all set. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.